bringing pets and kids on the meetings. So
yeah, my elder one came and she hinted me, can you please mute? I want to ask something. I said, okay. Yeah.
I think we are expecting more people, is it?
We are expecting a few more people, but we can start now, I think so, because we are.
Yeah, by that time,
yeah. So we'll start by the intro. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you again for joining. Although we have few participants, but still, thank you all for joining. Hopefully, we'll be adding up more in the coming few minutes. So welcome to the 49th webinar of the Networking and Learning Group. And those who have registered, thank you so much for registering, and thank you so much for attending this session. Today's session is titled Unlock Your Ability Through Design Thinking. And this is going to be very interesting because design thinking is going to be explored in depth by our speaker today. Before going into the webinar, thank you again for your registrations with us. Thank you so much. A short description about NLG. NLG was founded by Sushma and myself back in 2019, end of 2019, December. And Sushma, as you know, she is an HR professional and an NLP master practitioner. She is passionate about human touch. She is creating impact and positive difference by unleashing potential. And if you need anything guidance about HR, recruitment, interview, CV preparation, resume, you have to approach Sushma directly. And myself, my name is Jason Abraham. I'm also the co-founder of NLG. And I love to network with people. And I am on a mission with connecting 100,000 people by the end of 2021. Let's see if I'm successful in that. Going forward, we have two pillars of NLG. Mr. Anil Kunuku and Takiuddin Teparambil. Anil Kunuku is again an HR professional, NLP master practitioner, coach, and a mentor. And he is a Toastmaster as well. He has this AK Thoughts, which is coming up every day morning. If you have been member of our WhatsApp group, you can see his AK Thoughts. He's associated with Singapore-based university to mentor students. And thank you, Anil, for doing all the hard work behind the screens. Mr. Takiuddin Teparambil is again a QHSC professional and entrepreneur. He's MBA in HR and MSc in biotechnology. We are lucky to have these two gentlemen on board. So the mission of NLG is very short: to network, to learn, and to share knowledge. And this is self-explanatory. And this explains that why we have been successful in doing our 49 webinars till date. We have two pillars of NLG, or two verticals where we function. One is NLG League and NLG Career. NLG Career is all about sharing vacancies. Although we are not a recruitment agency, or we are not associated with any recruitment agencies, but still we share vacancies which have been forwarded to us through authentic sources. Again, we request all our members to verify the sources. NLG League is all about sharing knowledge and helping each other learn together. There are different modes of communicating with us: Facebook, LinkedIn, WhatsApp, Telegram, and we are going to start a YouTube channel as well. So you can communicate with us directly for any feedbacks. There are some ground rules to follow. Always mute your audio so that the speaker would not be disturbed. Use the chat box for comments, likes, and questions. You may raise your hand to ask your queries. Questions will be addressed at the end. You may take notes or screenshots as you require. So these are some of the screenshots of the previous webinars which have been conducted, and great professionals and individuals were together with us for sharing the thoughts and inputs. So coming back to today's section, today's speaker is Sanjay Kumar. He's an MBA with 22 years of experience, an IT background guy, new venture creation, design thinking. He's a guest faculty at Institute of Management Technology at AAC SB accredited institution. He's teaching design thinking and creates curriculum and learning pedagogy. Let's welcome Sanjay Kumar. Thank you so much for joining in. The floor is yours, Sanjay.
Okay, thank you very much. And first of all, a very warm welcome. And thank you for registering, and thank you to the NLG team to give me an opportunity to talk about this topic. It's one of my most passionate subjects. Sometimes I breathe design thinking. I talk only design thinking. So I thought let me just share a few quick snippet of what design thinking is. And actually, in this today's thing, we will also, apart from learning what is design thinking, how we can use it, we will also learn a technique. So I thought if it is 45 minutes or to a 1 hour, let's use it to learn something which we can actually apply. So that's the whole idea behind it. So I'll be sharing a PPT and then going through a lot of videos. My stories are through videos, you know, basically some activities. While we are starting, I'll just urge all of you, if you can have a pen and paper ready, that's all I need, to do an exercise. A pencil, anything, just a small paper and a pen or a pencil. That's about it. Okay. That's the basic thing which I need for the exercise. And though it may seem, this exercise which we will do, when I was doing an executive batch in IMT Ghaziabad, where I co-created the design thinking course, the one of the guys who was quite experienced, he asked me, so would you change my thinking in design thinking? And I said, okay, let me not answer that question. Let us do this exercise. Okay. So this is one of those exercises, very simple, which should just titillate your mind a little bit to think differently. Okay. So let's start the journey. Okay. And here is my PPT. As you can see, unlock your ability through design thinking. So one thing is true now, was true yesterday, and is true more in the future, is everything has changed, is changing, and will continue to change. And this is one of the critical things which everybody has to understand. And this was said by one of the CEO of Idea Coach, that they have been using a lot of design thinking. So the agenda is the need for the hour and design thinking, the innovation story, where I will show you a story. We'll actually learn something, practice that exercise on system thinking and how it is useful in your daily lives. A small video on design thinking, and then we'll have a small discussion. So that's the largely the 1 hour agenda. Okay. So let me move forward. So why is design thinking, why am I passionate right now? So I'm also writing a book on design thinking with one of the authors in IMT. And I felt that, this needs to be, the knowledge needs to percolate to as many people as possible. Because the pandemic, the need of the hour is to be creative, and innovative solutions need to emerge for very, very complex problems in very quick time. Business uses now algorithmic decision-making tools. So let me tell you a story on this one. There is a venture capitalist firm in Hong Kong, and it had a very diverse team of people who used to find out which are the right, companies to invest in. And the best they could manage was around 5 to 7% accuracy with the best of the brains. And then they thought, let us put a board member apart from humans. And that board member was it was an algorithm. And they fed in a lot of artificial intelligence data into it. And that algorithm used to also act as a board member. And suddenly they saw in about 2 years, the decisions they were taking were much better. In fact, the success rate doubled. So, going forward, a lot of businesses will start using a lot of artificial intelligence and algorithm. I could give you a lot of examples of how it is happening today. Tomorrow it will happen at a pace which nobody can match. So it is imperative that today's generation, which is us and our kids, need to not only manage this disruption, but actually thrive in this, unprecedented times. So 5 top skills among the 10 skills you need to thrive in the fourth industrial revolution of the World Economic Forum, are complex problem solving, emotional intelligence, cognitive flexibility, service orientation, and creativity and multidisciplinary co-creation. Today's problems are very unstructured and very, very complex. So we need to find out a way to solve them in a manner where, where we are able to efficiently use our resources. That's one of the main skills which will be in demand in the next few years. In fact, in the next decade, I can say these are the skills. Emotional intelligence. Most of the jobs which are repetitive, which are, most of the careers which have a set pattern can actually be done by, the algorithms, the bots, the AI machines. So one thing which will stand us good for the next 10 years is the emotional intelligence. It is the art of connecting with people. Okay. Cognitive flexibility, service orientation are all human-centered things, which skills which everybody, each and every student, each and every corporate, every coach, all of them need to develop those skills. And of course, the world is always looking at creativity and multidisciplinary co-creation. Till about a few years back, it was science. The science was the main thing, which was you're using the multidisciplines of science to get a innovation. Now it is not the same. It is now we need to have people who understand arts, people who are creative, people who are having different, who have knowledge of different disciplines coming together. So the world is changing. It's just not science anymore. It is all the disciplines which are taught in the current, universities, as well as the colleges, as well as in the courses which we get as corporates. So that's basically, why I think design thinking is become so much important, because 5 of these skills can be, mastered by understanding design thinking, and those are these skills. So with that as a thing, a small, let me ask everybody a question, and this is an innovation question. What does Dell computer do? Anybody? What does Dell do? Dell as a company, Dell Computers, what does it do? You can open up your mics, you can unmute and just give your opinion. What does Dell do?
Dell was the
They
pioneer.
do sell the computers.
Okay.
Sells computers, softwares.
Softwares, computers. Okay.
Dell was a pioneer in doing the supply chain innovation for making the computers on a on-demand or pull system based, which is what
Okay.
the world needs. And
Okay,
today,
the supply chain.
yeah, they retained their entire model to a push base. Post-pandemic, like every other company, they're also going into a pull demand base using a lot of algos and AIs.
Yep.
They're
doing algos, AIs.
Yeah, they're yet to achieve that.
Good. Any other? What if I said Dell helps farming?
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
They do aeronautics also, they do farming as well, and they do a lot of innovation for the governments. And along with the IBM Watson, they're doing a lot of work in blockchains.
Exactly. So I had an option of showing you IBM Watson video, which can, ask a few questions and give you a credit card, which is quite good. But I thought, let me not go there and let me go into a very niche field, which is farming. For many of us, farming is something which is very different from computer and algorithms. So let me share a video with you. And this is my story actually, in terms of, it is no longer a specific product, or it is quite multidisciplinary. So just watch this video.
Who would have thought you could grow a plant in a warehouse instead of a field? Without sun, without soil. We're doing it, and we're not only doing it on an experimental level, we're doing it on a commercial level. Today we focus on leafy greens. We believe we could grow anything. Our vision is to build farms in cities all over the world to allow everyone to have access to fresh, great tasting, healthy food all year round. The fact that we could grow plants using 95% less water, 0 pesticides, as much as 390 times the productivity per square foot as a field farmer shows what technology can do. We're able to understand the plants better than anyone ever in the history of farming, and it's by the data. And this is why the relationship with Dell Technologies is so valuable. We are collecting all of these data points of what we're giving the plant. What spectrum of light, what nutrients, how do we improve quality, taste, texture. We're using data analytics and becoming better farmers. At the end of the day, it's about how do we deliver a better product to the customer.
This is AeroFarm's baby kale. This is going to be packed the flavor of kale. The watercress had those peppery notes. The bok choy is super juicy. This is what I love about AeroFarms, is that it's like technology that's allowing people to farm better and smarter, and it makes really delicious food.
The world needs a new paradigm of how we're going to
Were you able to see this, the movie, the video clip?
Yes, Sanjay.
Yeah. So what does it make you ponder? What are the problems of today? The problems of today are conserving water, having food which is less pesticides, and having food which can be more productive, means lesser land, more food. These are some of the issues. And Dell has come together and used data analytics to change the way we can do farming. This is just not a one-off story, You can just imagine all of this is just tip of the iceberg. The amount of innovation which is going on, has happened, is happening, will happen, is among us. So in the present scenario, what are we all looking for? What are we all looking for? We're looking for a process which can help us match up the speed. So let me tell you a story. And this story is true for most of the corporates and most of us also. There were 2 monks, and they were in a let me come back to the different share mode. And so there were two monks, and they were their master told them that in order to grow in their own intellectualism, they had to do a particular, they had to go through a particular path and come back in 1 year, and they had to experience life as it comes in that 1 year. And the master said there's only one rule. While you are going there in that path, you can't touch a woman. So that's the only constraint. Now, these two farmers, monks, they just went ahead. 9 months, 10 months, they just kept walking. They were on track. They listened to what the master said. They were quite successful. 10 months, they were very happy. They were saying, oh, we have reached the goal. We are very close. We will please our master. He will give us a great boon or something like that. Okay, so they just kept walking. 11th month, they just came very close to their, the ashram where their guru and master lives. And for reaching that, they had to cross a river. And the river was flooded that day. Now they were thinking, how will we cross this? So they were thinking about different things, but they said, okay, we can cross it by holding each other's hand, and we can support each other. But at the same time, they saw a pregnant woman. She was sitting there and she was weeping actually, because she saw she was not able to cross to her house on the other side. The flood had come all of a sudden, and there was another small child on the other side. So she had a very, she was in a precarious situation. She couldn't risk her life, but she needed some support. The two monks were discussing, and they were like, I can't touch a woman, so I can't help her go the other side. Then one of them just took the decision, let me help this woman. And he helped her cross the river. She was very pleased. She was very happy. She had a lot of gratitude towards the one monk which helped her. The other monk was very unhappy, because one of the things which the master had said, both of you should not. So it's not that only one of you can't touch a woman. And and this monk was saying, I spent 11 months traveling, and you spoiled it in 1 day. He kept on brooding, and they kept on walking. The monk who had helped the woman did not answer. And finally, the irritated monk said, I can't take it anymore. You tell me, why did you do that? And the answer was, I tried to help her because she was in need. Okay. I carried her across the river. You are still carrying her. So you are at as fault as me. Okay. Now, most of us, including me, have learned so much in our careers and in our life. We carry it. We carry it means we don't want to change. Change becomes so difficult for us. And that's where design thinking is all about. It's not about just a process, tools, techniques. Anybody can teach you that. The most important thing is the mindsets. What are the mindsets needed to make any change possible? So that's one of my favorite stories. I tell it to everybody who is in the particular thing in my college. It's been my 5th year in the college, and this story always resonates with everybody. Though you may have heard this story in different contexts, however, it all matters is, are we ready for the change? Or are we thinking differently? Because most of the time there are similar situations, and we end up doing similar things which we have done. But the things which worked in the past may work, but it'll give you the same results which you get. But you want different results. You want fast results. So the whole mindset needs to change. That's why design thinking is all about mindset. Okay, so let me get back to the PPT now. I hope you. The story of the two monks. And if you see this particular chart, it is from one of the famous books. We are at a situation where innovation is happening at a much faster rate. And the human adaptability is clearly not at that pace. And that is why the next generation belongs to people who can adapt, who can learn the new skills, and they can go and use those new skills to challenge the unstructured problems of tomorrow. Many people say design thinking is for corporates. I say no. Design thinking is for everybody. It is for students. It is for young professionals. It is for entrepreneurs. It is for startup people. Everybody needs to learn the new skills, because the principles and the mindsets can be used for any and every situation. Okay. So let me now go into, there is an exercise which we will all do. And I will ask all of you if you can, get a pen and paper, or a pencil or a paper with you. That's about it, nothing else. So I'll just give a pause of 1 minute. If you don't have it handy, if you can just bring it and then keep it handy, and then I will tell you the exercise. This is one of the exercises which seems simple, but if you start thinking, it is very, very, thought-provoking. It'll seem very simple, but apply some thought to it, okay? So I'll just give 30 more seconds for people to get their pen and papers ready. And I will urge you, once you have done your pen and paper, and you've done your exercise, you should show it in the screen also, okay? So that everybody else can see. Okay, so are you guys ready? Anybody who's not ready, just let me know, but I will just give the problem statement. And the problem, this is one of the exercises which is popularized by Tom Vujek a lot on system thinking. Okay. Now, let me ask you this. The exercise is, draw how to make a toast. This is an exercise. It is as simple as this. Draw how to make a toast. No words. Just draw how to make a toast, not the toast. Okay, I'll give you 5 minutes for that. So the time starts now. So it's like, draw how to make a toast. Don't worry about your drawing skills. It's not about your drawing skills. Okay, time starts now. If you have a question, you can ask me. By the way, some college students thought that it's a drink toast. No. So it is a bread toast, please. One more minute, please. Remember, it is about drawing how to make a toast. Are you guys ready? Just raise your thumb like this. Okay. Okay, good. Guys who are on not on video, if you can come on video and show me, all of you, if you can show me what you have drawn, and then we'll talk about it. So just put your picture in front of the camera. Okay, Sushma, 3-step process. Okay, Jason, yeah, okay. Oh, quite an exhaustive process of getting a bread and then putting some thing and putting on a pan. Good. Okay. Mohammed, yes, you are using a toaster, and I guess you are an engineer. Are you?
Not, sir.
Okay. Because you've drawn the wires, and Sumit, oh, you've done a toast. Okay. Kritika, I can't see. Yeah, okay. Yeah, this is a full process of incrementally coming into a toast. Poonam? I can't see. If you can just okay. It's a okay 4-step process. Nada. Oh my God! See, such a descriptive process. Very nice. Very good. Can I see Anil yours?
Yeah, mine is a very simple one. It's a manual labor, not on a tower like the pan.
Okay.
But it's not that complicated. It's a very simple one.
That's fine. Sumit and SP and Jadesh, if you guys want to show. Just okay. Got it. So you are also fond of toast with Anil. Okay.
Actually, I just read between the lines. So
Okay.
we see toast means a toast.
Yes.
So there are two kinds of toast. One is the toast which you actually toast, and the
Yes.
other is when you mentioned bread toast. So I drew a toaster and a bread.
Okay.
So
Very nice.
that's what I actually did. I mean, there was no just the toast. You know,
Yeah, it's a perspective.
just a
Yeah, that's
toast.
fine. Yes.
Toast can be of anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, any of you wondering, and if anybody's left want to show, please do it right now. But any of you wondering, what did I want to achieve this in this particular thing, and why this? What this simple exercise can do? If
It
you
shows
see,
that everybody is unique from their own thinking. Not everyone is thinking in the same way.
yes, that's diversity for you, and multidisciplinary co-creation is one of the keywords, buzzwords, and that's the reason why everybody brings a different kind of thinking. Any other thing?
It's like creating a visual and then putting it into process.
Exactly. It is about creating. It's not about the drawing skills. It is about creating a visual map of how the process is running. Do you know this particular exercise is being used in many of the large organizations to map out their current processes? So the moment you start mapping out, okay, this is the first process. It has a dependent process here, and it sends data here. It sends material here. And this way, they start creating and they start seeing a lot of redundancy, a lot of waste. This can be used for your thoughts also. If you want to achieve something, and if you say my goal is here, 10 years, 5 years down the lane, and you start breaking down those goals into first step this, next step this, next step this, next step this. Okay, it gives you more clarity. People who are from the background of IT must have know the thing about work breakdown structure, where we break the work into, and many others also, they break the work into chunks. I'm saying you can break your thoughts also into chunks, and yes, process mapping also. So basically, you can create process. How is it flowing? Two very important things in this was nodes and flows. Your actual diagrams or toast and breads were nodes, and the lines connecting them were flows. Let me share now a small video which I have made it based on this, and I show it to everybody, and then we'll come back and discuss it more. Okay.
Exercise. It is by Tom Wilczek, and the name of the exercise is How to Make Toast. So today we will be focusing on building a system model. It can be used for any important challenge that you are facing, like reducing cost, better and efficient process, improving sales, cash flow, anything. Let's first begin with a simple design exercise. I will ask you to get an A4 sheet, draw a picture of how to make toast. Let me repeat. I mean bread toast. Okay. So I will urge you to stop the video for 3 minutes and draw a picture. Hope you have drawn the picture of how to make toast. Let me show you some of the pictures I get when I run this exercise in my MBA classes. Some had, different events in different boxes. Some tied this with human emotions and were quite artistic. Some made a sandwich and not a toast. And for some, it was a journey from the farm to the kitchen. So as you can see, there are different diagrams. However, there is a common quality. Did you notice that? Most drawings have nodes and links. So what are nodes? Are tangible objects like toaster, people, etc. and links or connection between the nodes. The combination of nodes and links make the system model. It is a private, mental, visible model of how we think something works. You can measure the complexity of a model by counting the number of nodes. In this case, for how to make a toast, most diagrams have 4 to 8 nodes. Less than 4 makes the drawing seems trivial, and more than 13 produces a map shock. So the sweet spot is between 5 and 13 nodes for this. If you want to communicate effectively something visually, you should have about 5 to 13 more nodes. If this activity is done by groups, they produce the most comprehensive model because we combine several points of view. When people work together under the right circumstances, group models are much better than individual models. We are not going to practice that. You can do it in your free time if you want. So this approach is great for learning how to make a toast, but what if you wanted to draw something more relevant like customer experience? More and more organizations are using this method and are solving their wicked problems by collaboratively drawing them out. Those who see the world as movable nodes and links really have an edge. You start with the question, you collect the nodes, refine the nodes, you do it over and over again, refine, and the patterns seem to emerge, and the group gets clarity and the answers to the questions. So hope you enjoyed this.
So very seemingly simple exercise, but has been used worldwide to solve a lot of complex, complicated problems. Okay. If you are able to think visually, if you are able to show visually, most of you guys who are NLP people will actually understand this much better. Is we talk in terms of VAK, visual, audio, and kinesthetic. Okay. Visual, when you are able to break down the whole thing and showcase, and if you are showing it a simple thing in between 5 to 13, communication happens much better. And if you are in a group, which is a larger group, and you co-create, like if all of you were in a group, then you would have made a much richer process diagram. And that's where I think the point which Mohammed, you raised about diversity, is getting all of the different things in mind. And this can be used any problem you want to solve, you can use this. Okay. Any points, anything anybody wants to say? Anybody wants to share something on this one?
Sanjay, I have got a quick question.
Yes, please.
When you say about 5 to 13 nodes, so is there a concept like shorter the nodes, better the output, or faster the output? Or is it like how shorter we keep, better we communicate? Is that what you want to tell?
No, what I want to say is, if it is a simple process, okay, and you are trying to communicate between 5 and 13, the communication happens quite without your saying. Okay, so you don't need to say something that this is what. If you drew a bread packet and take out the bread, put the butter, put it in a toaster, comes out, take it, okay, and it pops out the next one, and then it put it on the plate. It clearly shows without even asking you, you would have said, oh, you're making a toast. Okay. For a little bit more complex problems, and that's where groups are involved, you can have much more nodes. And that's what I also told you about is thought breakdown structures. So if you are talking about a big publishing company, a big thing which your notes can run into thousands, don't go into the whole thousands, break them into smaller chunks and then bring them all together. You will see a lot of places where there is waste and you get efficiencies. And that's what the companies are looking for. That's what the startups are looking for. That is what you are looking for. In our own minds also, when we go, we have so much of clutters. We want to do everything. We want to do this, we want to do that. If you can just break down and say, this is my goal, and then say, write down what I'm doing today, you will clearly see some of them are actually divergent. They are not convergent. They'll not bring you to that goal. So you can put lesser attention to that. And that's what I'm saying. This exercise can be used to channelize your effort in a more visual manner. And the main thing is, the more visual you get, the mind gets imprinted and it's more better in results oriented.
Thank you.
Okay, so I think I'll just quickly now wrap up because it's time. Just quickly share this thing. We did an exercise.
Sanjay,
Okay.
can I ask you a question?
Yes, please.
Okay, my question to you, gentlemen, is that in a nutshell, can we put it that the less waste we have now, this is the decluttering and the cluttering of whatever we've gathered till now, and the decluttering of the things. Let's say I have 10 apples with me, and I actually don't want to have 10 apples. It's only I just need 1 apple out of those 10 apples. So the 9 apples which I have just stored or got myself completely as a hoarder. Now this can be at a process level. This can be at a at a company level, where a lot of I always call waste as muda, which is the Japanese term. I always use it. So the more waste, the more muda I have, it's basically decluttering of that. Can I put it this way? Because when I do design thinking, when I try to innovate something, I always love to see that where my design is headed, what am I trying to achieve, and what is the waste I'm trying to reduce. So
Yeah.
in terms of supply chain, I always say that it is value addition. What is the value stream mapping? When I do a value stream mapping, what is the addition thing I'm trying to give to my customer or to my client,
Yes.
or to anybody I'm talking to?
Yes, I think this is one of the basics of value stream mapping also. But value stream mapping goes a little bit further into giving a value to each of the processes, and then calculating what is the right combination, all of those kind of things. What I today wanted to give is a very basic framework. And if you're right, you can use it for thoughts, you can use it for companies, you can use it for flows, anything.
Anything. Put a 5i to any thought, and you're there with the problem solution.
Yes. So most of the times, there are other tools and techniques also in design thinking. I just told you one where we will always start with divergent views. And the art of design thinking, or the process of design thinking, is to actually bring you into a convergent view. Try it out, see the results, and then at a much lesser price, see what will happen if I do this, if I do that. So that's I'll come to that, but let me just in the interest of time, can I share just one video on design thinking, and then we will we'll have some small question session, if that is okay, guys. Okay.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Okay, so just give me 1 minute, and then this is one video which I have created for design thinking. Very simplistic, nothing
Sanjay, you're on mute now.
Sorry, I'll just share.
Company companies make strategies of the future based on past trends and data, using their instinct to create product, services, process for the future customers. Does that always work? Design thinking is a strategy-making process to avoid the costly mistakes by using the tools from the design world and focusing on the human behavior. A word of caution: if you just focused on adopting the process but overlooked the mindsets needed for making the change, chances are, you will fail. Design thinking is an approach popularized by IDEO which puts equal emphasis on process and mindsets. I would like to explain the concept of design thinking in 3 broad steps. First step is to imagine a future, basically form an hypothesis on what customers want by immersing in their lives. Instead of conducting polls and surveys, just observe them and their behaviors in their natural settings and ask them the right questions. Second, create a rough prototype and test your solution ideas of products or services and conduct a few experiments to see how customers respond to your prototype. Iterate, adjust the product or pricing or positioning based on feedback. Third, prepare to launch the product, service or process in the market by carefully managing the constraints. Let me explain through a small example. Procter & Gamble launched its washing power line into India. They then started observing people washing clothes and quickly realized that they were ignoring a huge market of people who washed their clothes by hand. They saw a big need of people washing by hands to have a detergent which cleans well, is gentle on the hand and is affordable. They conducted a few experiments and then launched Tide Naturals that was well received by a range of consumers. By using creative human-centered problem solving, design thinking can help us unlock new markets, solve wicked and unstructured problems.
Okay, so this brings us, this gives you a little bit idea on design thinking. Jason, if you can come out of